Are you serious? Are you serious? Yeah, I know. I feel like just another brick in the wall. I know what you're thinking. Okay. Anyway, welcome everybody. This is the Coming Apocalypse YouTube version. I'm Pastor Paul Begley. I know what you're thinking. Are you serious? And are you serious? It is time to take a strong look at Vladimir Putin and the vortex of evil. Yes, Putin is in Iran today. He's meeting with Turkey, Erdogan, and with the Iranian supreme leader, the Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Everybody is gathered there for a reason, to talk about Turkey, to talk about Syria, to talk about Iran, to talk about Russia, to talk about Israel, to really talk about Gog and Magog. Let me tell you all about that in just a second. But first, let's put a shout out right now, if we could, for www.ketowithpaul.com. That's ketowithpaul.com. This stuff is really amazing, really, I'll tell you. The weight management is universal struggle. And after we turn 20, this struggle becomes much, much harder. This is because our body's metabolism slows by as much as 4% each decade. And this is why I highly recommend this amazing keto diet powder. It works to increase the level of ketones in your body without you ever needing to be on a keto diet. So you receive all the benefits of the keto diet, including faster metabolism, weight loss without strict diet of keto. And the best thing about it is it comes with free shipping. No, that's not the best thing. You lose weight. You get in shape. You look ageless. You look amazing. Just go right and save 51% off if you'll go right now to www.ketowithpaul.com. That's www.ketowithpaul.com. You'll be really, really glad you did. Wow. Well, incredible information here. I want to share this with you. I think it's amazing. That is this. And you'll feel better too, you know. But let's talk about what's happening with Vladimir Putin. Boot scooting Putin. He's moving and shooting and scooting and nuking. Well, Putin, Erdogan head to Iran for talks on Syria and the future of the Middle East. And what does that mean? Well, the goal the goal of July 18th and 19th meetings in Iran is as part of an Astana. That's a process relating to Syria. Putin is also meeting the supreme leader, the Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. And this trip is very signifies a new era of Turkey, Iran, Russia relations. I call it the vortex of evil. Turkish President Erdogan is also heading to Iran to meet with his Iranian and Russian counterparts this week. It's the vortex of evil. And there's 3 goals. Each nation has a goal. Let's talk about those. Russia's goal in Syria is to stabilize, they say, Syrian regime. Iran's goal is to use Syria as a base for threats against Israel and to traffic weapons to Hezbollah in Lebanon. And then Turkey's goal is Syria is to use it as a dumping ground for Syrian refugee pushbacks, to cultivate pro-Turkish Syrian rebel groups, and to remove the Kurds from the border area. Now, Russia has more of a goal than just stabilizing Syria, trust me. They also want to stabilize the entire Middle East. They want to control all the oil in Europe and the Middle East, which would give them basically the most powerful position in the world. And they're doing it by using the most powerful weapons in the world, the threat of nuclear annihilation. And because of Putin's merciless attacks on the Ukrainian people, and he's doing it right to the civilians, the population, because he's doing this, everyone believes that he would be crazy enough to throw the nukes. His manifesto that he wrote before he invaded Ukraine showed that his ideology is that he hates the American Western culture, that what it's become. In his mind, it's become immoral, perverse, and out of touch with reality. So he feels also that the Americans in the West have tried to corner him and leaving him in the corner and shutting him out of participating with the rest of the world. And because of that, he's decided that we need to change the new world order. If he has to, he'll make friends and build allies with the likes of Turkey and Iran and even China in an unholy alliance of a vortex of evil. Now, we have some more information on this I'd like to share with you, and that is what all they've been talking about. Okay? I mean, Russian President Vladimir Putin is set to meet with the Iranian Supreme Leader, the Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, today. And the Russian state-owned news agency is reporting, according to Dmitry Peskov. Now, the trip signifies, of course, a new era in Turkey-Iran-Russian relationships, with Turkey's President Erdogan also heading to Iran to meet with his counterparts. This comes in the wake of U.S. President Joe Biden's visit in the region. And the Russian and Iranian-backed Syrian regime controls the major cities, while Turkey controls northwestern Syria, and the U.S.-backed Syrian Democratic Forces control eastern Syria, where the Kurds are. Now, Russia's goal in Syria is to stabilize the Syrian regime, they say, and Iran's goal is to use Syria as a base for threats against Israel and to traffic weapons into Hezbollah in Lebanon. And Turkey's goal in Syria is to use it as a dumping ground for Syrian refugee pushbacks, to cultivate pro-Turkish Syrian rebel groups, and to remove the Kurds from the border area. The U.S. goal in Syria is to defeat ISIS, although ISIS has mostly been defeated under the Trump administration in 2019, and the overall U.S. policy remains unclear. And that's true for that, because we don't even know what we're doing. There are other issues afoot. Russia is at war with Ukraine, and Iran wants to take advantage of Russia's distraction and expand its influence in Syria. And Iran also uses Syria to traffic drugs, mostly captagion drugs, a trade that threatens Jordan and the Gulf. Turkey wants to begin a new invasion, targeting Kurds. And meanwhile, the U.S. recently used a drone to kill another ISIS leader near the Turkish border between Idlib and Afrin. In the wake of the Biden visit, it is important that Iran and Turkey feel they are getting press and high-level attention from Putin. As part of the visit, the 7th meeting of this top-level Turkish-Iranian-Russian Cooperation Council will be held, and the Turkish Presidential Office said it is planned to approve steps on the further development of bilateral relations. Along with the bilateral matters, it is also planned to discuss regional and global issues. Our president, they said, will take part in the 7th Astana Format Summit, chaired by the Iranian president and attended by Russian President Vladimir Putin. During the summit, the sides will hold political consultants on the situation in Syria, the fight against terrorist organizations posing threats to the region's security, such as the Kurdistan Workers' Party and the Islamic State, or ISIS. We'll discuss efforts also geared toward reaching a political solution, the humanitarian situation, and the problem of voluntary return of Syrian refugees. A meeting between Putin and Erdogan is planned separately. All three countries, though, have interests in Syria. Iran, Russia support the legitimate government of Damascus, and Turkey is one of the opponents of Bashar al-Assad. What a mess. Other reports say that although Turkey wants to launch a new offensive, Iran opposes this operation. And Tuesday's meeting will also allow Erdogan to hold his first face-to-face meeting with the Russian president since the start of Moscow's special military operation, if you will, or invasion in Ukraine. And Iran's Fars news agency is also reporting that the upcoming meeting, noting that Ankara wants a green light for its operation. In other words, Turkey wants a green light to go on the offensive in Syria. Now, Turkey's news agency also aspects of the Turkey-Iran relations and potential steps that would enhance the bilateral cooperation will be discussed during a council meeting, which will be held with the participation of relevant ministers. And among the issues Turkey's discussing is not only its demand for a new operation against terror groups, but also a desire to look at the humanitarian situation. The voluntary return of these Syrians to their homes will be the agenda of the summit. But remember, Turkey hates the Kurds, but the Kurds are the ones that helped Israel 3,000 years ago, and God promised they would never be destroyed or would never lose their homeland. So the Americans are there protecting the Kurds, but the Kurds are one tough bunch that can't be defeated in their area along the Turkish border. It's quite interesting. Everybody wants to use Syria as an area to further their agenda, but none of these guys, Iran, Turkey, or Russia, are really friends of Israel. And if you study Bible prophecy really truthfully, you'll see that in the battle of Gog and Magog, which is found in Ezekiel 38, that these are the three main countries that attack Israel in the battle of Gog and Magog. It's not just Turkey, Iran, and Russia, but also Libya, Ethiopia, and other nations, which I would assume would be Syria and probably some more, that would attack Israel. I think even Iraq would, and maybe even Afghanistan if they can get out of their own way. But they would be all attacking Israel in the great battle of Gog and Magog. But God tells you that when they attack, they run into the force of the hand of God, and that hand will stop whatever they're trying to do. This is a dangerous time. Because remember, God made a promise. Before you go to Ezekiel 38, you have to remember something. There's Ezekiel 39. It's in Ezekiel 39 where God gives the promise that he would protect Israel and destroy Iran. But before you get to Ezekiel 39 and Ezekiel 38, you got to remember Ezekiel 37, when God promised in a prophecy from Ezekiel that the dry bones of Israel would be rebirthed and a nation would rise and it would conquer all nations that come against it. So it's time to rattle the bones. Ezekiel 37, these bones shall live, the whole house of Israel.
Saturday was silent, and surely it was through. Since when has impossible ever stopped you? Friday's disappointment is Sunday's empty tomb. Since when has impossible ever stopped you? This is the sound of a dry bones rattling. This is the praise make a dead man walk again.
Oh yes. Open the grave, I'm coming out. I'm gonna live again. This is the sound of dry bones rattling.
This is
of Elisha.
If there's anything that he can do, just as the stone that was rolled at the tomb in the garden, what happens when God says to move? I feel him moving it now. I feel him
Moving it now.
I feel him doing it now. Do it now. Do it now. This is the sound of
Dry bones rattling.
yeah. This is the praise making dead man walk again. Open the grave.
I'm coming out. I'm gonna live again.
Open the grave. I'm coming out. I'm gonna live again. Open the grave. I'm coming out. I'm gonna live again. This is the sound of dry bones rattling.
Hear the bones rattling? Coming back to life.
Son of man, these bones are the whole house of Israel. Prophesy and say to them, thus saith the Lord God, behold, my people, I will open your graves and cause you to come up from your graves and bring you into the land of Israel. Then you shall know that I am the Lord, and I will put my spirit in you, and I will place you in your own land, and you shall live. I will place you in your own land.
You shall live.
Live, live.
Live. Live.
This is the sound of dry bones rattling. Yeah, this is the praise making dead man walk again. Open the grave, I'm coming out. I'm gonna live again. Open the grave, I'm coming out.
I'm gonna live again. Open the grave. I'm coming out. I'm gonna live again.
This is the sound of dry bones rattling.
Well, that's Rattle. You can get that on my brand new CD, guys, and you can place your orders today because we'll be shipping that brand new CDs out the first week of August, just a few days from now. So get your pre-orders in so I can ship you your copy of your CD, Harmonize and Prophesy. And I think you're going to love it. I really do. I really honestly do. And I'd love to ship it with also a copy of The Journey if you'd like to do that. Or matter of fact, if you haven't got my music, why don't you order all four of the albums and be blessed with all the great songs that are on there. But this last album, Harmonize and Prophesy, is really special. I think you'll be blessed. I'll be back with some more current world events and how they relate to biblical prophecy. We are living in the last days, and time is running out. I'll be back. And don't forget, today we will be live at noon. I'll be back live at noon. And get this. We'll give you a complete rundown on all the current world events. We're going to do a live broadcast at noon. And so we'll get you up to speed on all the current world events. And we have two special guests. We have Casper McLeod, Pastor Casper McLeod, and Renee Toure, as they've come out with a brand new album, and we're going to share some of their songs with you today and interview them along the way. So that'll be taking place during the broadcast as well. So I'll see you guys at 12 noon with more on the coming apocalypse. Are you saved?